Hello everyone, I'm CoolGuy, welcome back. Today let's talk about the Eris Morn Essence Handcannon Loud Lullaby, learn about it, what it does well, what it doesn't do well, and also learn some things about range on this handcannon. You can craft it by doing the Essence of Brutality found at the enchantment. It's repeatable once you've found the Necromantic Strand. You need 50 handcannon kills and complete activities on the moon. Once done, you get a randomly rolled Loud Lullaby. The roll that I have and the one that you'll be seeing throughout the review is near perfect. It's what some of the kids nowadays call a god roll. Mine is Outlaw, multi-kill clip. For the barrel, it has full bore for the most range, polygonal for the most stability. That's great because I can choose between the most stability that it can have or the most range that it can have on the barrel. For the magazine, drop mag for a fast reload or steady rounds for the most stability. It has a handling masterwork, and as we go on, if you do enjoy the video, a like rating really helps me out, and subscribe if you aren't a subscriber. The Loud Lullaby is a kinetic 110. Immediately you think of the Duke MK.44, and on this channel, every time I talk about a 110, it's compared to the Duke. Nothing's changed. The Duke is a stat monster, nothing compares to its base stats. So for Loud Lullaby here, the stats next to it are going to be the Duke's for comparison. It has a range of 58, stability of 25, handling of 32, reload of 31, aim assist of 60, and a recoil direction stat of 98. The Duke crushes it crushes all 110s, it always has, but I'm not worried about that. That doesn't take anything away from the Loud Lullaby. Because in a moment, I'm going to talk about range, and on handcannons, historically you've wanted range. It's been important, but with the way Bungie changed it, it hit all of them, including the 110s. Range is important to a point, but at a certain point, it doesn't matter that much. Loud Lullaby is more so about its very special perk set. It has some things about it that are different from other 110s. What's nice out of the gate, one of the base stats that it has going for it is the recoil direction. It's very vertical. You know that your follow-up shots are going to be predictable. With something like the Duke, it trails off a little bit and you have to kind of work with it, but with Loud Lullaby, it's very predictable, nice. For the barrels, same barrels that roll on all handcannons, there's 9 of them. Full bore for the most range, polygonal for stability, small bore for range and stability. For the magazine, 8 options, accurize for the most range, steady for the most stability, drop mag for the best reload, and there's a variety of magazine perks to bump that base magazine of 8 up to 9, 10, or 11. Before we get into its perk set, let's talk about range. The handcannons and pulses got a range cap. All of them were hit. You look at Crimson's stat bar, that doesn't matter. You can look at 180s, their range, their stat bar for range, it doesn't matter. They cap around 30 meters. The average is 27.5 to 28 meters, and on the low end, it's gonna be 26 meters. 110s have the same range cap as a 140, and so on. They all got hit. So when you look at range, let's look at this roll that I have. Full bore and drop mag is going to be the most range for this roll. Because steady rounds actually reduces range a tad, it hits max damage at 27 meters. That's when it's doing 91. It has a 3-shot distance of 34 meters. That's a big range perk, full bore. But look at the recoil. Let's remember it reduces your stability. Even with mouse and keyboard, it shoots to the sky. On console, it's atrocious. Your follow-up shots are really hard to come by. If I go the complete opposite direction, put on polygonal, put on steady rounds, taking away those range perks, adding stability perks, the stability bar goes way up, its max range is now 26 meters that it does 91 to the head, and its 3-shot distance is 33 meters. This is something to consider with handcannons now as we go forward. We now know that they fall at an average of 27.5 to 28 meters, 30 meters on the high end with something like rangefinder, 26 on the low end. If you were to have full bore, you would take away all that stability for 1 meter of drop off. It's not worth it. This roll's stability is high with the best possible stability perks for the barrel and the magazine, and it's just 1 meter shy. And then you look at the recoil now, there's a huge difference. Very tightly grouped, very easy to follow up even with mouse and keyboard. It's a very tight grouping now with follow-up shots, and I notice on mouse and keyboard, if I did 0 recoil compensation at all, it would kind of fly up higher and higher, but since I have those stability perks, it really anchors that down, makes the grouping a lot tighter. Before Shadowkeep, full bore would have been a viable option even with this recoil because you know what you had out of that, you're getting more range. But in practice, the highest point of recoil, like right here in this image, imagine getting flinched right here at the highest point of recoil. That's a bad look. So while the Duke might hit 28 or 29 meters, or the range cap of 30 with rangefinder, this isn't that far off. It really isn't. And with the range cap and severe falloff of handcannons, these 110s do have a place, and I'll talk about it. Like right here, PC, mouse, and keyboard, the spare rations user I'm going against is outside of the effective range. Those start at 68 damage, falloff goes to 65, 55, and lower to 49, and so on. These 110s start at 91. So as I'm doing 88 damage, and I can step all the way back 7 more meters, I'm still going to be within my 3-shot range. Meanwhile, these 150s that do 68 at the start doing 50 and 44. They start taking 4 and 5, and they have to be hitting crits at that point. So within this area, they're competitive. Right here and only here is that sweet spot, and in the PvP section, I'll go over this a little bit more. For the first perk node, Grave Robber, good perk. These have a slow reload inherently, but we do have an artifact that grants enhanced handcannon reloaders. Threat detector, it's a great perk in the right situation. Under pressure, very cool for a hand cannon, improves stability and accuracy as the ammo gets lower, as the mag gets lower. Only this, the Optative, and the Thin Line can roll it, so kind of rare on a hand cannon. We have Outlaw, top tier for Loud Lullaby, any weapon really. Subsistence, top tier now with its buff, really good PvE. Perk, we have Field Prep. We went over it last video with the Adhortative, and I went over it in previous videos. It's basically Outlaw on demand. It's a great perk. In the second perk node, Explosive Payload, top tier for the Crucible, applies flinch, and extends its range because that damage splits into two sections, the explosive round and the actual bullet damage. And the explosive damage has no fall off, it stays the same. Opening Shot, great perk. Fourth time's a charm, gets the mag going a little bit longer, stretching it out, but for a 110 on a hand cannon, it's decent. I wouldn't really call it top tier. Demolitionist, great perk for PvE and PvP, multi-kill clip, it's special. Only this and the Spare Rations have it hand cannon wise. And then finally, Rampage, top tier for it. When you look at the perks and think about what we talked about with range earlier, for you, the user, what do you want out of it? Do you want it for PvE? Do you want it for PvP? Do you want it for both? For PvE, Subsistence with Demolitionist with multi-kill clip or Rampage is great. Outlaw or Field Prep with multi-kill clip or Rampage is great. In the Crucible, Outlaw or Field Prep with Explosive Payload, and then Outlaw or Field Prep with Rampage or multi-kill clip. And if you're a collector, multi-kill clip is a must. When you really look at it, going back with everything that we said and going back to what you want out of it, even though the stats are lower than something like the Duke, it does have a special perk pool, it has great recoil direction, it feels nice. In reality, you aren't gonna match something like Rapid Hit Rampage or Rapid Hit Kill Clip from the Duke, because it does it so well. You can replicate it on the Loud Lullaby, maybe because you like the feel, the look, the sound, and that's okay if you do. But for the most part, that roll is just golden on the Duke. So for the Loud Lullaby, I would value things like Under Pressure, Subsistence, Field Prep, Explosive Payload, Demolitionist, Multi-Kill Clip, and even though it can be found on others, Rampage, because it pairs so well with 110s. You put some of these combos together and you can do some completely different things than the Duke and other 110s. But it comes down to what you find value, and for me personally, the exact roll that I have is the exact roll I would be going for. It's the one that I was wanting to go for when I first saw that it can roll it. I talked about it in length in the Adhortative review, quick rundown. On a 110, these hit hard. That helps in PvE and PvP. Multi-kill clip, best damage dealing perk in the game for legendary. Doing 50% more damage on a ×3 stack. My favorite part is that it chains off of itself, and I'll explain why I like that so much. I didn't explain it in the other video. It's because it's like reactive reload from Destiny 1. There's no cooldown. You can get a kill, reload, get a kill, reload over and over, and you're at least gonna come back to that ×1 stack. And you use that ×1 stack to get 2 or 3 kills, string those together. Then when you reload, you get that ×3 stack. I put on a backup mag to get that base magazine from 8 to 11, because when you get a ×3 multi-kill clip stack, you're able to get out 9 rounds within that duration, so you can get out the full stack of the 9 rounds, have 2 rounds, then do your reload. Otherwise, it just holds 8, so you're kind of missing out on damage. You'd have to reload in between. In PvE, with the artifact, you can throw on anti-barrier hand cannon, unstoppable hand cannon, perks like Subsistence, Field Prep Outlaw, Rampage, multi-kill clip, makes it viable. It's kind of encounter dependent though. You can feel the range nerf in PvE as well. And because of that, I'm not sure I would take it into some areas. But other than that, it does hold its own. And like my roll, a hard-hitting 110 with Outlaw multi-kill clip does great. In PvP, it does 91 to the head, 50 to the body, a 2 headshot, 1 body shot kill, a potential 1 headshot, 2 body shot kill on low resilience Guardians. In PvP, they can duel, and now that sweet spot's gonna be 26 meters to 34 meters. It can 3-tap up to that point, but it has a very slow 1.07 TTK. In a true 1v1, these are relaxed. You're more so relying on your engagement distance, and if they're in range with their weapon, you have to rely on them missing a little bit. You need to be flinching them, you need to have good movement. It's a bad look, it really is. These 110s in the Crucible are best used in 3 ways. Number 1, it's a great team shot weapon. They do 91 to the head, and that's pretty much half of your enemy's health. So you could be following a blueberry around, or someone's gonna come up to you, like in this area right here. 91 to the head is no joke. You're gonna delete whoever you're shooting at. The second part is that it's a really good peek shot weapon, and with a 1.07 TTK, that's really what you should be doing with it. Peek out, huge chunk damage of 91, go back into cover. This is how you dual pulses really well and other weapons really well. And number 3, it's really good as a finisher with damage perks. This is the best way to use 110s I've found. and players have been doing it for a long time. I've been doing it with the Monarch Duke combo forever. A 1 stack of Rampage makes the damage go to 100 per crit, so you get your kill, the cleanup, and then you can 2-tap the next opponent. And if you have something like Rampage, a Rampage spec is needed in the Crucible, that way you have more time with it. But that's when these are most deadly, and you achieve that by doing the first 2 tips. In a team shot setting, and you land your critical shot, it's basically 50-50 on if that's going to be the final blow. If it is the final blow, you get Rampage or multi-kill clip or kill clip going, and then you're really deadly. The second thing is the peak shot. It's got a slow TTK, you use your surroundings, you use your cover. That's a great way to get final blows, to get to this third part. On this roll, multi-kill clip, again, I love it because you can chain it after it killed. It doesn't have a cooldown like regular kill clip, and for some of the gameplay, you've been seeing Iron Banner and honestly, hand cannon users. If you're high light, you should try using a 110. Low light players get 2-tapped. 110s are crazy in there if you're high light and Iron Banner. Now, for a long time, I've talked about my feelings about power level enabled Iron Banner. Not a big fan of it. I do feel that it could be retuned. I just happen to be getting gameplay for Loud Lullaby while all this is going on. But with my role, Outlaw Multi-Kill Clip, I basically work with Multi-Kill Clip ×1 a lot. I've had it ×2, but a ×1 is standard. ×3 is pretty much a unicorn, very rare. With Multi-Kill Clip ×1, it does 106. That's important to me. We've talked about range, the range cap. So since the damage starts already high at 91, you add on 15 to 106 because of Multi-Kill Clip ×1. That really helps fight fall off, getting 3 taps at longer ranges. Just like before, you have to be careful with a 110, and if you're careful and do the things that you need to do, as we talked about those 3 things, you can do well at that point. In a straight up duel, you'll get sat down most of the time. In conclusion, the honest assessment here for Loud Lullaby is that in PvE or PvP, there are a lot of others that do it better with certain roles. Rapid Hit Rampage Duke, Rangefinder Opening Shot Criminal's Dagger if you're going for cleanups while you're using a sniper rifle. But with Loud Lullaby, it's those special perks that we talked about. The base stats are right in the middle of the pack, you elevate it with its perk pool. At base, it's a very nice feeling hand cannon, nice recoil direction, and it sounds amazing. But if you're an avid hand cannon user, then absolutely go for it. It's kinetic, players do have their favorites there. In PvE, something like Mountaintop. In PvP, things like Thorn, numerous things, Bygones. And for most players, they would probably have to get a role that would entice them to at least try it. And honestly, for me, they're only competitive when you do certain things and they have certain things on them. The only role that I would carry with me is the one that I have, because the Rampage Rapid Hit Duke is superior for what it does. But with Outlaw Multi-Kill Clip, I could do things a little bit differently. In PvE, it one-shots where it should one-shot enemies, and when you get that stack up, it helps with higher tier enemies. And in the Crucible, a damage dealing perk like Multi-Kill Clip ×1, sometimes ×2, makes 2 taps happens, it fights fall off. It's good at doing that. Otherwise, lots of hand cannons can do what it does, but just a tad better. You need to be looking for the special perk pool to get the most out of it. If you're new to the channel, remember to hit the subscribe button. If you are subscribed, thank you for your support. We're getting close to 100,000. We're gonna keep on going. I would like to know what you think about Loud Lullaby. What perk combinations are you interested in? What roles do you have rolled on it right now? And what are your overall thoughts? That goes for PvE and PvP players, mouse and keyboard players, console players, everyone. Thank you for watching, and until the next one, I am CoolGuy.